What's up, guys? Welcome to another live session. Today is October 18th, 2019, and we're back at again on the charts, ready for our Friday session. And yeah, so let's get straight to it. Today's session is usually a trade setup recap of what the trades we took, and potential trades for next week. And so our trade yesterday that we took was EURNZD short, and I also have the YouTube chat popped up. I'm not sure if I'll actually open up the live. For those that are watching on YouTube, you can also watch it on our beautiful portal. We have a nice chat where I get to chat with all the guys, all the free and paid members. And obviously you get to use our charts and etc. So if you haven't used our portal before, signing up is free. Make sure you sign up. And you can do so by going to forexlens.com/forex-trading-room-room. And you'll have two options here. You can choose either one. And yep, so without further ado, some messages from before we went live. Yeah, so let's go. So EURNZD was a call that was done live in yesterday's session. We rarely, we have that from time to time if the setup's there. And in this case, we did have that for EURNZD. Our entry was at 1.75200, and we went as deep as 1.74538. So very close to 70 pips. 66 pips and change, as that's how deep we went. We obviously have stops at break even, and we've take partials. So we're gonna let the trade go. And if you look at recent price action, the pair has come down and has retested on this green candle on this previous resistance right here. We can look to the left. We have a lot of wicks and activity at this level, and so I think that's where we're retesting, and we're currently rejecting. So if this bearish candle closes anywhere below the previous green candle, somewhere down here, we probably are more than likely to go all the way down to our font take profit. So because stops are our entry, we're probably gonna hold this trade over the weekend and just just let it be, and we can accumulate pips over the weekend going into next week. And we do have some Brexit news. Today is the European Economic Summit, so it's gonna be all day, and we'll have updates on what's happening with Brexit. I'm using my favorite website here, Daily Effects, to kind of give me some updates on that. Looks like things are pretty neutral compared to our article yesterday. Let's check the news. Right, so this is what we talked about yesterday. EU and so the European Union and UK reach a deal, but the DUP refused to support, and this is the party for Ireland, I believe, and I think they are not interested in getting this deal done. And if it is done, the UK will leave the bloc on October 31st. And if such a deal isn't done, I think either way we'll see some volatility in the pound. It's all speculation, but I think if Brexit falls through, then the pound will drop out of the sky. So apparently they did have a vote, and I think it was 7-4 in favor of the deal. It's a whole lot of, it's a pretty decent sized deal where there's a lot of things going on, but I'll send this article through. It's from the BBC, and I'll put it in the chat so you guys could read it. But I think that's a good article summarizing what's happening so far. And so this is one of the trades we took. The other trade we took was EURAUD short, which we're still in. And we were actually even further in profits. Based on our entry, we're actually 90 pips in profit now. So another clean trading, chart that we did during our live session. Everything was explained, and it goes on our philosophy of using trading ranges. And it all starts with this fake out, this fake out to the top side. And it wasn't really a fake out, because if you look at price action, when it went above this previous resistance at 1.63500, price, went up, and it came back down to retest. And it did go up, this is around, 80 or 100 pips move up. So it wasn't a fake out technically, because it did go to our next resistance zone, which is at 1.64300. But what happened was, after that rally, EURUSD fell back down. And the reason for this was the employment data that came out on Thursday, or was it Wednesday, that came out for Australia. And the unemployment rate actually dropped from 5.3% in the past and our forecast to 5.2%. And obviously that's great for the Australian dollar. So we had this initial push down, and that was great, because we're right in our trading range again, and that trading range is from this level to this level. You can see that happened pretty consistently, right? So our thought process was, now that we're back in this trading range, let's go short to down here. And we used a second confirmation, and that was a close below our secondary resistance, which was 1.63260, right? We can see, a lot of wicks in this area. And so this was a secondary resistance after this one. So if you look at our entry, if I zoom in, you can see after we got a candle closure below our secondary resistance, we entered that trade, and we virtually had a zero drawdown trade. And we're 80% the way there and 90 pips up. So a nice, easy, trade with this and EURNZD that's brought us over 160 pips in the last, 2 days or so. So this is one of the highlights. We took quite a few trades, so I'm going to go to all of them. Another highlight trade was I believe Aussie NSD, which took the short end of the stick for the unemployment data. So I'll show that quickly, and I'll show gold, and then we can go into trade setups for next week. So this kind of stuff pisses me off, but this was our trade setup for Aussie NSD, and this was called Wednesday morning session, okay? And it was just based on the daily time frame, where we had our nice descending trend line, and what we had printed was a nice rejection candle on the daily time frame. If you can see this nice, shooting star into that trend line, nice rejection. So I was inclined to enter short, and we entered short after we closed below hourly support. Hourly support is right at this horizontal line, right around 1.07500. And so after we got the rejection from that trend line, we waited for a closure below that hourly support, and we went short. So, when we got to this point, it was looking good, looking like we're going to go lower. And then obviously the unemployment data came out, Australian dollar strength came, and we got stopped out. Our stop loss was pretty tight and conservative. 20 to 30 pips were lost max, so it wasn't too big of an issue. But if you can see what happened in recent times, when after that release, we've kind of, chilled here for a bit, before closing back below our hourly support and going pretty much close to our first take profit. So pretty annoying, but that's what happens when you hold trades during news. You're willing to take that risk. Thankfully so, EURAUD has paid off this trade 2 times over. So not too big of an issue. Definitely happy that the overall idea was correct. And you can just chalk it up to the game, and look to enter maybe next week for maybe a bounce back up from support here, somewhere down here, or a continuation short if we continue to consolidate in and around our entry. Now let's look at gold before we look at some setups for next week, and we could end off this session on a good foot. Just gonna check some charts. So yeah, here's gold, and this was a gold trade called, I believe, Monday. Pretty similar price action setup. The level that came into play was 1478. If we look back at the start of October, this is where we created our swing low before we rallied. And when we came back down, this is another point where, we found some support. And once again, we had a lot of wicks in this area. A lot of wicks, a lot of rejections, failure to go lower. So I was inclined to call a gold long. And if we look at our stop loss, we came pretty close to getting stopped out. Depending on your broker or your spreads at the time, you may or may not have gotten stopped out. For example, my live account got stopped out on this trade, but my demo account did not get stopped out. I'm pretty annoyed by that because it's the same broker. But that, you just, whatever, it happens. But I told everyone to use a 0.5, of their position, so 50% of their regular lot size. Just because, gold has been pretty volatile with the recent trade news and sanctions, in Europe and whatnot. So we have the whole Hong Kong bill protest thing going on. So I knew there's going to be volatility in gold, and in case, something drastic happens, we're not going to be burnt too much. But if you look at the overall analysis, we had this initial push because U.S. core retail sales came out worse than expected. And so, then after that push, we kind of consolidated. I mean, look at this volatility that we had. Within 1 hour, we came back to our entry, then popped back up, came back to our entry, then finally shot it up to our final take profit, pretty much to the T. And once again, our take profits are always at key levels. And if you look, this horizontal array right here, 1496 represents a pretty nice hourly resistance for the pair. And we've seen, gold, the precious metal rally to that level, come back down, rally again before going lower. And so all in all, this trade was a nice, 110 possible pips made, depending on if you got stopped out or not. But I think if we didn't get stopped out here, we definitely got stopped out at entry when we took partials. And that's fine because I was still, a 70 pip move. So not complaining there. And yeah, so it was a pretty good week. I was sick to start off the week, so it was pretty slow. But enough of this week. Let's go into some setups for next week. And one of the setups, which is kind of starting to play out, was a potential long on EURUSD. The reason why our overall mood and bias on EURUSD has changed is because on the daily we had this descending, channel, right? And this channel gave us a lot of setups over these past few months. And in recent times, we actually broke out of that channel. And if we zoom in, we can actually see that EURUSD actually sneakily, very, very quietly broke out, came back to a retest on this candle. You can see the retest, rejected and went higher. So it did break out of our descending channel. It broke out, had a retest and a rejection. So we're looking to go, higher. And in yesterday's sessions, one of the levels we spoke of when we were somewhere here was 1.11600. That was, a previous resistance for EURUSD, as you can see here and here. I think that's gonna be one level that will determine if we stay low. So if we come here to this level, we can go back down if we get rejection. On the other side, if we do get a break above this level, I'm more than confident and inclined that we're going to go to 1.12500, and we know that's a major level for EURUSD. Just look to the left. We can see a lot of activity here, A lot of activity here, a lot of activity here, and this dates back to the start of the year. We've used that support multiple times, so that's one key level that we're looking at to target. And so yesterday I did give the long idea, and we did get into some profit. Let's see how much we got into. 23 pips. Looks like we're coming back down. Another confluence to this trade was, since we always like to take multiple confluences before entering, was that once we broke that descending channel on the 4-hour time frame, we made an ascending channel. A nice clean channel. And what had happened was, when we came up here to maybe make a next wave down, we broke out, and we had that same common pattern. We had the breakout, we had the retest on this candle. Let me actually slide this over so you can see. So we had the breakout on this candle, we had the retest with this green candle, and we had a rejection going up. So yeah, we're looking to go up. I think right now I might pull back with the EU Economic Summit going on. But that's the overall pattern. So next week, Monday, on another free session, I hope to God that on Sunday we get a push above 1.11600, and that way we could have this sort of setup play out. And this it's gonna be a 4.0 risk to reward ratio trade, and I'd be very excited to call that. So that's what we have. But until then, we're gonna have this trade, which was into some minor profit if you took it. Another similar setup was on Euro Yen, a potential long, and this one is doing a lot better, just because the Euro Yen moves more than the Euro USD does per pip, and this one got as high as 110 pips in profit. So very similar setup as the Euro USD. We had a nice long-term downtrend that we finally broke out, and we cleared some very key levels to get there. One being our recent swing low right here, and our previous support, which has come into play, which we're currently testing. So I am bullish on Euro Yen and Euro USD, unless something happens over the weekend with the EU Economic Summit. But we can see the overall shift from previous price action, where you can see these bear runs have been quite significant, with small reliefs from the bulls, and now finally we're having a longer bull run. Okay, and this bull run has been longer than the past. I don't know, when's the last time we had a bull run this long? Maybe this one right here, back in the start of the year. So it's nice, we're getting some buyers back in. And yeah, so these are all sessions that were given to the paid users, in case I'm asleep or I'm doing other stuff for Forex Lens. You need to watch out for this entry. And it was very similar. We had an ascending channel, we had a break above, we had a retest on a smaller time frame, which I'll show you. So we saw an ascending channel, we had a break above, we had a couple retests, rejection on this candle to go higher, and we did go higher. If you look, price has been squeezed back below 12900, which is one of the supports we just talked about. So overall, price, what it needs to do is close above 12900, get a nice bullish closer, and we can go to our next key level, which is 121,760. So yeah, a lot of potential pips that could have been made this week, and a lot of great setups for next week. And we're just excited at Forex Lens that the trade war is pretty much done. I mean, they've got a deal in phase 1 going out. There is a Hong Kong bill protest thing that's going on, where the U.S. is trying to force Hong Kong to abide by UN rules, etc. But I think if that can resolve itself, then we won't have any random spikes in volatility and updates from Trump on Twitter about the trade war. So we'll have nice calm conditions to trade. And Euro USD, Euro Yen are some steps I want to trade. And also, let's just look at our pound swing trade that I called, and it is in good shape. I called this off just because some of our clients have smaller trader counts. than usual, right? People are learning how to trade during the first month or two, and so if you look at the stop, I mean it's a 2.0 risk reward setup. But the stop is pretty substantial. If you look at our entry, the stop loss is around 160 pips. Now, for most people with small accounts, even if you use proper risk management and a small lot size, that's gonna be too much burden on their account. And so I told them to get out of the trade and just enter it on their demo and see it play out that way. And if we look, we're in some great profit. Our entry was here at 128,450, around there. And we went to our first key level, and this horizontal array, I promise to God, was drawn beforehand. And you can see we spiked to the T at that level, and that was 140 pips away. So for anyone that did hold the swing trade on their live account because it was big enough, you already made 140 pips. We did come back down a bit, but it's looking like we're continuing to go up. So this is the beauty of swing trades, is you place the trade and you kind of forget about it. There was a time where we came halfway to our stop loss, but I think it's just because we got caught in a retrace. But that 140 pips really paved the way, and made me even more confident about this trade. So we might have a potential wick fill. What a wick fill is, when we do have a wick in momentum like this one up to the top, price is usually inclined to fill that wick. So we could see 1.29800 being touched on Monday or even Tuesday. And so for those that are holding this trade on your demo or live, continue to hold it. It'll pay a lot of dividends. Our final take profit is 131,500 or 131,600 area. So a few great setups presented to you guys. We're at 22 minutes. I want to make the session around 30, make it nice and informative, just to give everyone that's not a paid user a nice taste of what to do and what you're going to get in these sessions. Hopefully you guys get a chance to check out our portal. It's free to sign up. We also have an education section with courses and whatnot, so be sure to watch all of that if you get a chance. And you can also see our signals and see all the last trades I've called, all the providers I've called. This way you can keep on track, all in one place. Pretty neat. And we also have a news feature to keep track of economic calendars. So pretty nice, hefty, trading. It's like a trading desk. Instead of having multiple screens, we kind of condensed it into one screen. And I think this is a great tool for traders. And obviously our New York Live, which you come in and you play and you get to see me talk. So pretty nice. We'll do a couple more setups before we end the session off. And at the end of the session, I will be giving a 25% off your first month coupon code. So be on the lookout for that. And that way you can try it out, try the service out. And if you enjoy, you can subscribe for maybe 3 months or whatever that may be. Let's check in the chat. Hey Ed Wallow, how are you? Yeah, we do swing trades. Oh, someone asked, can I check Aussie yen? Okay, I'll do that right now. Yeah, so thank you for mentioning Aussie yen, because yesterday I was discussing a long idea and it is in profit. So wow, yesterday was a really good trading day for the paid guys. Seriously, because this is, I believe, let's see how much profit this is. Entry was at 74,100. We went as far as 74,400. So 30 pips were made. Came back down at entry. And yeah, it's looking like we're going to go up. We might be stalling in and around this area. We've created some hourly support at 74,330. Just, kind of being stalled there. But on the daily, like we just showed on the chart, it does look bullish. And our first take profit was at 74,442. And we came, 4 pips within there. And the reason why that's our key level is if we look to the left, it's been a nice resistance for this pair. We can see failed attempts to go higher before going lower. And in yesterday's live session, if you guys want to check it out, I did say that we could potentially, have something like this happen, where we kind of stall at, the secondary resistance, and not go all the way up here. But thankfully, we pretty much went to that first take profit. And even if you look at the second resistance at these highs right here, price has closed above. So it's printing hammers as we speak. So I do think Aussie yen will go higher. Two reasons: Aussie data came up better than expected, so unemployment rate has gone down in Australia. Second reason: China has reached a deal. Maybe a phase 1 deal, whatever it may be, with the U.S. And Australia's biggest trade partner is China. So if China is doing well, Australia will do well. So that's another thing. And number three, because overall global tensions are coming down. Things are getting calmer. Safe havens like the yen and the Swiss are going to lose their strength, right? And what I mean by that is, the trade war has kind of come to an end. Hopefully so. The whole Brexit thing is looking like they're coming on a way to a resolution. And so a lot of the safe havens are going to lose their strength that they had over these past 2 quarters. And so we might see, Aussie yen push up to our actual take profit, 74.457. Now, if we get a break above a closure, which we did not get back in September, when we had 3 attempts, we never got a candle closure above. In this case, if we do get a candle closure above, it's going to be more than likely that we're going to make moves higher, with our target in mind of 75.340, right? And if we go to the daily, it makes sense why we have that as a target. You can see the next, crucial demand zone, supply zone is right here. You can look, we use as support way back in May, a nice support before we went to some resistance up here. So that would be our trade idea, right? To first break this previous resistance, and then head to our previous support, and then obviously to our resistance region, defined by this blue area. And that reminds me, thank you for mentioning this. So hopefully this trade idea makes sense to you. And even if you go to the monthly, you can see we have a monthly trend line dating back to 2008, right? We had our first touch here, our second touch here in 2019. And if we zoom in, we can see that we did have a bullish reaction off this level. And the next candle we're printing on the monthly time frame is a bullish hammer. So it is looking like we're having a trend shift, and we can go higher. So hopefully that analysis helps for Aussie yen. And I'm happy you mentioned it because there's 2 trades I want to talk about, EURCHF and USD yen, that I saw setups for. So let's quickly look at that. Yep, cool. So we've shorted EURCHF in the past, and it's been pretty nice to us. And we have a similar possibility to do that again. If we look based on everything I've talked about through all these sessions and even today, we like to trade trading ranges and zones. And one key zone that comes into mind is 1.10, 180 for EURCHF. Just looking to the left, back when we slipped in August, we've kind of been trapped by this level, right here, right here, right here, right here, and a huge rejection here. So we're respecting this level pretty well, pretty much to the T. And what we're looking for now is a break of this secondary resistance, 1.09652. Okay, because if we look, bring up my horizontal array, price has recently created support at 1.09745 right here. A lot of wicks coming back up, in and up, in and up, in and up. So kind of a consolidation region between this level and this level. And so what we want is, if we get a closure below our secondary resistance, right, this level, if we get a closure anywhere down here, looking at past price action, right? When we get a closure or when we come to this level, we go down, right? We go down to this trading range or we almost go down. But then again, this is a nice move we can catch, right? Look in the past before, close below this level, we go all the way down to 1.08500. Again, we go down to here. That's still a 50% move. A lot of pips to be made here. In the past, we went all the way down here. And so you get the idea, right? And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to catch this move, right? A close below right here, this resistance, and our stop loss will be very tight. And the overall take profit would be substantial. So this is a 3.75 risk to reward ratio trade on EURCHF. That was thinking for next week. We are on the 4-hourly, so it might take a day or two for this kind of to come back down here. But if we get this, it's an amazing trade setup. So this is what our setups we'll be entering as well. We already named a couple. One more setup before we end this week off. I think I might do Bitcoin because someone asked yesterday, and we will send this session off. So the other one was USD yen, which also has a potential to short. And it's a similar, theory that we're talking on. Basic price action. If we look, USD yen has failed to go higher. Failed to go higher than 108,900. Now, if we look at past levels here, we see 108,400 be a nice resistance. One occasion here, second occasion here, third occasion here. So if we look, USD yen has come back to visit this resistance. So what we want, and it's a similar story as EURCHF, is if we get the close below this resistance, we could potentially short it all the way down to the bottom of this trading range, right? On the flip side, to get the best possible entry, we could wait for a close below our hourly resistance / support. The last time USD yen was here, it used this previous level as a support before swinging higher. And so the best entry for us would be a close below 108,227. So close down here would mean we are likely going to visit this level, then this level, and maybe let's make this better, and maybe down here, right? And if we look, we can see why that intuitive reasoning is there. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. And if you look at the trade that we take, if we do go amazing risk to reward, and if you look at this, even if we go from here to here, that's a nice chunk of pips. Even if we go from here to halfway to here, that's a nice chunk of pips. The markets, are stingy. They don't give out pips very often, and so you can you take what they give you and move on. So I'm gonna look at Bitcoin, and I think that would be a good way to end off the session. We are approaching 33 minutes, so I don't want to drag this too long, but that'll be good. And I think someone sent us a donation. Thank you, Muhammad Khan, for that. Yeah, so thank you for that. So hopefully you guys are Bitcoin, crypto heads. But someone in the in the session yesterday asked, so I'll look at giving another visit. And wow, our final take profit was hit pretty much to the T. Someone asked this last time, and the analysis pretty much played out. Wow, I think that is actually to the pip. Yeah, simple for Bitcoin, really. Pretty simple analysis. Let's go to weekly just to see where Bitcoin's headed next. Oh, and there's a coupon code. So yeah, if you want, 25% off our trading room, just go to forexlens.com/forex-trading-room and click up get full access, so you get all our sessions free and paid. If you didn't know, our free sessions are Monday and Friday. Monday is a general analysis day where we just talk about biases and what we could trade. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is when I'll hand out the gems, all the major trades, do live calls. and Friday is where we do recaps and next week insights. So if you want all the sessions plus our beautiful portal, which has TradingView charts. So if you don't have TradingView Pro and you want to open up a lot of charts at the same time, you can do this on our portal. And these charts, you can draw on them. So as I do the live, you can analyze while I go. And this is available on the house in our portal. So when you join up for our paid portal membership, you get 6 signal providers, one's including me. And then you get our portal and obviously all the live sessions. And so I'm giving you guys 25% off your first month. The coupon code is 20 off. This is a 0. This is a O, not a 0. So make sure you put a OFF and get that 25% off at checkout. So you just click get full access. You fill out this form. It takes 2 minutes. And click next. On the next page at the bottom, there'll be say coupon code. Enter it and you'll be good to go. So yeah, and looking at Bitcoin, we've had previous trades from here, and someone asked, I think last week or whatever, where I think it was headed next. I gave them the short idea. Pretty simple setup. We created support here, right? Support at 7725 and resistance at 8463, right? We can see we've kind of been consolidating there. And what happened was Bitcoin on the daily time frame did a fake out. A lot of people thought it was going to break out to the top side, but this is why you wait for a break and retest, right? So Bitcoin, what happened was it closed back within our trading range. And if we go to the 4-hour, we drew a trend line, right? So this was a fake out, right? It had a break above our our resistance. And when it came back to retest, we never got that full rejection candle, right? We got a bearish candle. And so what I did was I drew this trend line to mark our trend. And what happened was we got a break, a retest of our previous resistance, and Bitcoin hasn't looked back ever since. And if you look where our take profit level ends, that is pretty much where you went to the T. So yeah, you can also get Bitcoin analysis on our sessions. Obviously, we're more Forex oriented, but if you ever wanted to get 1 or 2 trades in for crypto, can definitely do so. So whoever asked that, I think it was Igor. Yeah, hopefully you caught the short on Bitcoin. It's coming to some support, so if you want, you can close out your profits and maybe look for buys. But if you're holding crypto for the long haul, be consistent with this viewpoint. If it closes below 7,500, it very well could fall out the sky. So make sure you keep an eye. We're pretty close to that level, but 7,500. If it closes below that level, we are going lower, and it could be ugly. It could get very ugly. So I think that's a nice place to leave this live session. I think I talked about everything pretty in detail. Monday is another free session, so I'll see everyone then. And hopefully this session helped you guys out, gave you a nice taste of what to expect. So I'm RP Forex. I'm logging off. This week was very profitable. Let's keep that going. So yeah, have a great weekend, guys, and I'll see you all on Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern for another free session. So make sure you sign up for a free portal, and if you want to take advantage of the 25% off coupon code, make sure you do so. So yeah, that's it. Peace out.